King Mitchell.
How old are you?
I am 31 years old.
Who are you to me?
I am a teacher at the school, so you're one of my students, even though I don't have you in one of my classes.
Where are you from?
I am from Cerritos, California.
How would you describe your identity?
I would describe my identity to, at this point, I feel like it shifts over time, but at this point, the crux or the center of my identity has to deal with my cultural background. So I would say I start off as an African American woman, then or African American, then gender. I'm a woman, then I'm a mom. So it just kind of trickles down, but the center point is that I'm African American.
What would you do to describe who you are?
What would I do to describe who I am? I think I would start off with culture, gender, religious affiliation, and then everything kind of is connected to all of those things.
What factors are included in your identity?
Factors included in my identity would be age, generation, my socioeconomic status, where I grew up, the kind of city I grew up, and the background where I grew up, my family, how I grew up, my relationships with them, and my experience based off of my cultural background.
What influences made you the person you are?
I feel like major influences on who I am have been my interactions with people. Growing up, I grew up in a upper middle class city, so my viewpoint on how the world was and how things were very skewed. However, going to college and in my adulthood, interactions with different people from different backgrounds has kind of opened up my eyes, and has had a major impact on who I am today.
Was your identity given to you or did you choose it?
I feel like it was a mixture of both. There were definitely certain things, like I feel like just I've always been this way, like how I was born. So in that way, I guess it was given to me. Maybe genetics or family plays a factor into it, but I also feel like half of who I am is based off the decisions that I make, my own moral convictions, my own experiences, my own thoughts and understandings.
Did you have a choice about the person who you are today?
Yes. And I say that because growing up, I grew up really sheltered and I have a really strong family. So I spent a lot of my time trying to construct my identity based off what they wanted. But as an adult, I would say probably the last 3 or 4 years, I've made concrete decisions that I want to make, not based off of what their thoughts or their opinions were.
Do you think it's important to choose your identity? If so, why? If not, why not?
Yes, I do feel like it is imperative that people choose their own identities, because if you don't, you are always living for somebody else. And if you're living for somebody else, eventually that gets old. And until you start making decisions and making choices based off of what you want, or you start living your life or being who you feel like you are, you're never going to be successful.
What benefits and disadvantages have you encountered based on your identity?
I feel like most of my advantages that I've had in life have been based off of the fact, like I said, I grew up upper middle class, so financially, money was never a factor in my life. I pretty much have always gotten the material things that I wanted. I went to good schools. College was never like a question if I was going or not, because I knew even if I got a scholarship, but even if I didn't get a scholarship, I had a college account, so that wasn't a big deal. But being African American, especially my adulthood, I had to work harder. I have to make sure that I am stronger, that I am smarter, that I am more likable than some of my other counterparts, based off of the fact that I'm an African American and a woman. There's a lot of things that men are easily given where women have to work harder for. teaching is not one of those things. It's one of those professions that's kind of balanced out. But in school, in other career that I've pursued or other opportunities I've pursued, being a woman and being an African American has definitely been a disadvantage for me.
Are you happy with your identity?
Absolutely. I love being black. I love being a woman. I love being who I am. These are core things about me that I can't change. And I also feel like my experiences, whether they be positive or negative, have shaped who I am and have made me overall a better person.
What do you like the most about you, your identity?
What I like the most about my identity is that I feel like, regardless of culture, race, socioeconomic status, any of those things, at my core, I'm a good person. And I think that because of my experiences and my understandings that I've had with other people, I like who I am.
How would you describe yourself and the things you do?
I would describe myself as smart. I would say that I'm a hard worker, that regardless of how intelligent I am, I never try and rest on that. Like they say, rest on your laurels. I always make sure I work hard. I'm kind. I treat other people how I want to be treated. I feel like I'm extremely fair, very by the book, very factual. I don't like a whole lot of gray area, which may not always be a good thing. But I think that has gotten far.